Hold on. Let me grab my computer. I have notes. Hold on one
Okay.
sec. Can't believe you turned my algorithm from like anime videos and like video games and sketches to like they're gonna be like, oh, we got him now. We got him.
A black Republican. Oh,
A
finally.
unicorn.
Yeah. No, if you're just getting a bunch of racist shit, I turned off my like YouTube history, whatever
Oh, that's smart.
algorithm.
I should have watched it
Yeah,
on incognito.
yeah.
Now I'm gonna.
Although there's a pending lawsuit. Apparently, the incognito stuff was all a sham.
Oh yeah, you're still getting cookified. Basically, it's just like it polished your history, but everything else is like very public.
Yeah, I didn't really read much. All I know is that if you are a user, you can request money in a settlement.
Oh, shoot, I'd love some money because I
Yeah.
have some secrets. I
Exactly.
You violated my trust. I was trying to beat off in privacy.
Yeah, not like those guys who do it publicly.
Yeah, I'm not there yet. You know,
I have manners.
there's a guy whose whole thing. We're not recording, right?
Oh, we were recording. I kinda, but it's okay. I can cut this out.
Well, actually, okay, fine. If we are, I'll just tell you. I'll. You can delete the.
Well, I haven't introduced you yet, so anything that you said is
Well, you said you're going to use me as a
technically off the
thumbnail.
record. Yeah, exactly.
Let me do this Audacity real quick. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. This is the field between. My name is Ahmed. Today, I'm happy to be joined by a dear friend,
Dear friend.
Corey Christopher Reid.
Hello. Glad to be here. Yeah, man.
Yasmine's on a multi-day bike trip. She's abandoned me. She's doing husband abandonment.
Yeah. So you did that thing, that Batman meme where he's like pulling out his cowl and he's like, no wait, sorry, it's Bugs Bunny. It's Bugs Bunny and he's in a tuxedo.
See, I don't think Batman has a cow.
No, cowl. It's Bugs Bunny. He's in a
Cowl.
tuxedo.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
looking at a pistol. And he's like, I gotta go back to the old me.
Yeah,
We're bringing
exactly.
back Very Good Boys. I don't know if your prestigious listeners know that you and I had kind of a failed podcast before A Field Between. I don't know if they know your history. They don't know that this wise man before them is actually a sicko.
An absolute menace to society.
We used to be deranged together, but then you moved.
Yeah. Maybe if we ever monetize this podcast,
Mhm.
I will put one of those episodes up behind the paywall.
Please listen. If you monetize,
And
we can finish him.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
I think that'd be sick. But yes, this is me returning back to my true roots, the old me.
Yeah.
Because once again, Yasmine has just this whole new this feminism movement has made it so that women can just leave the house.
I like when my woman is like a veal calf, just
I know,
just soft. SOFF, soft.
and has a 10 foot diameter in which she can roam.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
can only do podcasting with me and not be healthy.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting a little bit of FOMO because she's sending me like updates and pictures and stuff from the bike trip that they're going
Where'd
on.
you say it was again? What state?
Riding from Pennsylvania, from Pittsburgh to DC.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Catherine, my wife, did that once. Not from, it was like along the coast.
Oh,
And yeah, the most I've ever done is like walk a whole park, and in my under breasts got very sweaty, and I said, not again. There's nothing like being a guy who's like kind of free large. I'm like on the I have enough of a height that I can kind of mask it, but if I take off my shirt, I have like a B cup.
I don't know. I was about to say, I mean, you're filling out this shirt.
Thank you.
And I got to say, you look great.
Oh man!
First of all.
Wow.
I feel like the shoulders are popping.
The shoulders are
and you look,
popping.
I don't know if it's your lighting that you have, but your skin has a very nice, healthy glow to it right
Wow, I
now.
should come on more often. This is doing wonders for my
Yeah,
self-esteem. I'm
yeah.
feeling good. Wow. How long Yasmine gone for? Let me rock your world real quick.
Yeah, I mean, she's gone until I think the 21st.
Oh, that's plenty of time. I could rock you a couple times.
So much time.
We could, we could look, and I can move
By the
in.
time,
We could get a
by the time, yeah, by the time she gets here, I'll just be a smoldering, blasted heath.
you're a black hole into infinity. You and I
Yeah,
have a secret dog together and a baking
yeah.
a small business that we opened.
We somehow get the dog as a puppy, but it's like an old, decrepit,
Yeah.
like limping, just shaggy mess.
You've been gone so long, I had to move on.
Yeah, it's like what is that? Interstellar,
Mm.
where they go into the black hole. You and I live an entire lifetime.
Yeah, that movie bummed me out because that scene where they go to that planet with the big waves and they come back out, and the black man,
Yeah,
he's like 30, and then they come back, he's like 70.
right,
He's like, "Oh, you guys came back."
right.
I'm like, "Man, that sucks. You
Yeah.
just stayed on the ship and waited for them for
He
like
just
40 years, and I'm supposed to be
well,
like, this movie's about hope." As a guy wasted
yeah,
his life for them to fuck around, for be like, "Yeah, this dangerous planet is dangerous, it turns out."
yeah. Well, and he's like, he's just like, he wasn't even hopeful that they'd come back. He was like, oh, I'd given up all hope, and I just decided to stay
Yeah,
here.
I'm like,
And
why didn't you just go home, or like use I don't know, go to any of the habitable planets? Like, surely there was one planet that wasn't full of 200-foot tall waves, you know?
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. Oh man, yeah. I rewatched that recently, and the lady Anne Hathaway's character is so annoying on that planet.
What did she do? Was she's just like,
Because the reason they get fucked up by the wave is because she like runs out to try to get this beacon thing as
yeah,
like a 500-foot wave is coming toward her.
yeah.
And everyone's like, hey man, it's not worth it. Like, get back on this ship, because like every minute we're here is like a year on Earth.
That rules. And what's cool about that
Yeah.
is they fully had a kind of sentient robot who probably could have just done it for them, you know?
Yeah, don't get me started on the robot design in that movie.
You don't like the fact that he's like
He's like a chocolate bar. It's like a giant chocolate bar or a door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
they could have, yeah. Christopher Nolan's kind of a dumb guy. He's a dumb guy's smart guy.
I'm not saying it had to be like a humanoid. Like I get why they didn't make it a humanoid robot.
There's better shapes for traversal. He
Definitely
was
better
basically
shapes.
like a 7-foot tall Roblox.
Yeah, like the people in Minecraft is what he.
Yeah,
looked
he
like.
was Minecraft Steve, or you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Corey, I don't know if you've heard, but there is a threat amassing within and without the U.S.
Yeah.
And that threat is radical
In
Islam
Sharia law.
and Sharia law, and they are almost indistinguishable from just regular Islam.
في عندكم يهود طلعوا لقيس لما يجوا عندكم اضربهم بوكس
What I have been trained to fight against is radical Islam. This ideology is willing to bring death and destruction to our way of life.
They had this belief in this greater cause to return to the glory of Islam and install a caliphate.
Extremists, they brainwash you from a very young age. Against the Jews, against the infidels, against America, against the West.
They teach them to murder Jews and Christians, infidels. This is a religious war.
I see the different groups that are protesting to free Palestine. You're showing your ignorance because these people wouldn't accept you.
They believe America, the Western values, they must be stopped, destroyed. You're raising a generation that will change the society from the inside. That anything that is not us doesn't have the right to exist.
We are naive and we have our head buried in the sand. We don't think that is going to come here.
I actually do have a couple questions as we proceed. I do want just clarification because there were so many things in this. I'll let you introduce it, but like so much of this could just be debunked with like any context at all.
Yeah.
It was mostly decontextualized footage and like actually pretty decently well lit young people staring directly into the camera.
Yeah. You could do like a Google search really quickly and just find that most of this stuff is absolute bullshit. But we are talking about the Prager U video titled "Dear Infidels: A Warning to America." I don't know if you we both grew up in the South, and I don't know if I said if it was made by Prager U, but it's made by Prager U. The kind of conservative media outlet that is trying to just slowly take over education in several states.
Okay, yeah, I know about them, but I had questions about them. Oh, you went black.
Oops.
There we go.
Sorry, I accidentally clicked on the thing.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, what's their freaking deal? Because they obviously have money. And we can. I don't know if you want to get into that later, but I'm just like, what's their goal, man?
I think their goal is to just become like a primary source for educators. So I think in 7 states now, Prager U has been officially added into state curriculum. Like I know Florida is one of those states. I can't remember if it's like Florida, South Carolina, Alabama, or something like that. I don't know. I can't remember all of them, but I know for sure Florida has brought Prager U videos into some of the course curriculums, because the other thing that's happening is that they are just trying to privatize all education and make it so that you can just teach kids the craziest shit.
Is it do the teachers they're like, well, as they're pitching it to their like department heads, they're like, it has university in the name, so it must be real.
Yeah. And like the animations are pretty sleek. So this one is a Prager U. It's like all actual people.
Yeah, I looked up one of the guys, and I'll get into him later.
Ooh. But there's a Prager U Kids channel.
No.
Also that has these they're like pretty sleek animations, but they just heinous shit.
Well, that's one of the remarkable things about, I guess, modern, I don't know, I guess culture or conservatism is like they've evolved in such a way that they're doing like 2002 rhetoric, but like the cinematography is actually good. Like the production value, like the sense of pacing, that's the part that's like, I guess, I don't know, the most scary is that like, oh, I hate to use this word, but there's actual like skill behind this and talent, which usually makes you think these people are smart enough to not do a thing. But I'm like, who's the editor that like,
hey, job market.
The job market is
tough,
rough,
man.
And,
would you take a job with Prager U? You're a filmmaker.
Well, here's the thing. So I've been looking for, I do freelance, but I've been looking for in-house positions. And a lot of stuff that's been cropping up lately is working for YouTubers. Like a significant portion of the jobs I'm finding is like, it's either like
Mr. Beast.
Yeah, he's like based down in like, I don't know, like Wilmington. Or something. And I'm like, do I do it? So it's either that or like secret like thing that's like a military offshoot, but has like a kind of a more covert name, like I don't know, like Liberty International or something.
Right.
Or like I don't know, Tech Excellence, and you're like, oh, what's this? And then you
Soldiers Without Borders.
Yeah, then you click on it. I mean, it'll be something very covert, like.
Yeah, actually, like all the like the weapons defense manufacturers have like there's one in DC I always drive by it. It's called like General Dynamics. Or like one out here called Industrial Scientific.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like,
our company is
what
called
do you do?
Scientific Revolution Inc. And what we do is we're trying to turn the human genome into poison.
So that it unravels a person from the inside out.
So if you inject someone and they breathe on someone that you don't like, and then
they just become like the guy from the first scene in like Prometheus where he just
he
dissolves
turns
into
into
the air.
goo. Yeah. You turn into like a 6'2" muscle hunk for like 30 minutes. But then after that, you turn into straight up goo.
Just to experience what it's like to be that jacked.
That
bulbous.
You're on your way. If me and you combined, we'd be halfway there.
Yeah, maybe we could take like a position for hire there and see if they'll let us be their guinea pigs.
I'm actually just
combine our DNA.
I'm just trying to change things from the inside, I tell myself.
Literally from my insides. I would.
I applied for the Goebbels department at the NSA.
Like I said, hey, the economy's tough, dude. You can't.
It is tough out there.
Be picking and choosing. Yeah.
I did want to play a little game with you in regards to this movie. I have a little bingo card that I filled out.
Okay.
That I'll just bring up every now and then that they do like a classic, classic dog whistle. And the first one is in like the first minute, and it's the I call it the shithole filter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the foreign country. No matter what year it is, no matter what time it is, they have to put like a jaundice yellow over over a little boy sitting against the wall, not playing with his friends because he secretly hates them because, according to him, they just all he wants to do is just be a good boy and eat candy, but his friends only want to kill Jews. And I can't play soccer.
Yeah.
I can't fuck with y'all. Stop it. A Jewish man gave me candy one time, and all y'all talk about is soccer and killing Jewish people.
So this video, it kind of profiles a couple of different people who are talking and ostensibly like warning the viewer about this threat to the Western civilization and way of life. And so I'm going to quickly read the description of this because I think it just does a good job of setting up exactly what we're going to talk about.
Wonderful.
So on the YouTube video, which has Prager U has 3.34 million subscribers, by the way. And this video has like 1.2 million views. And it is described, radical Islam poses a significant threat to our freedom. The rise of anti-American rhetoric and violence in the cities and universities is a direct result of the indoctrination led by those perpetuating a religious war against the West. Prager U's short documentary features firsthand accounts from those who escaped Islamic rule and have come to warn America. And the guy you're talking about is the first one shown, whose name is
it Dor?
Ayman Abu.
Oh wait, sorry.
Yeah. Well, his real name or his like birth name is Ayman Abu Sabah. I don't know. And then he changed his name to Dor Shakar.
Yeah.
And he's a Palestinian, allegedly.
Yeah.
He's allegedly a Palestinian who escaped to Israel from the terror of Hamas and later converted to Judaism.
He's a brown man who looks like a brown Steven Seagal.
Oh my God! Yes, he looks like he is on his way to becoming Steven Seagal.
He's transitioning into
his like ponytail is atrocious.
Yes, it's slick back,
fucking.
And he has the world's worst hairline. You can look at a person and there's like maybe like a hairline math between how fucked up your hairline is and how fucked up your soul is.
Yeah.
And his is. It is irregular. It's crooked. It's large, and his hair is slicked back. And the Seagalification of this man is underway.
Oh, I would say he's probably about like 60%.
Oh yes, he just needs to put on a few pounds, and he's done. Maybe
you know. But this guy, starts telling the story, like you said, like he was, and I say allegedly because I have no reason to believe that any of these stories are real,
Yeah.
but as he tells it, is that he grew up in a super conservative Muslim household, and his father was constantly just telling him to kill Jews, and that he would recognize a Jew by the fact that they have 3 legs and 3 eyeballs.
Yes.
Which, I mean, if you just take the logic of the video, like, if his dad's goal was to actually get his son to kill Jews, what a stupid thing to say.
Yeah,
because
he could have.
no one has 3 legs and 3 eyeballs. It's like, what?
Well, his dad is like I don't know, one of these like cartoonish like when he decided not to beat Jews or something, his dad just like beat him instead.
Right.
In a very amazing scene where it's just like a guy staring out a window and there's just like a noose hanging in the room, and he's like, and my dad just kept beating me over, and I said I don't want to kill Jews. And it feels like I don't know, it almost feels like one of those novels you'd read in high school where someone's father is like a Great Gatsby-esque thing, where everyone is just like too arch to be like a real person, just too evil to actually exist in any kind of world.
Exactly. They can't fucking help themselves. But like, yes, even in this supposed to be documentary, they cannot help but create like the most extreme caricature of like a Muslim or Arab, because they're just like, they just can't help themselves. Like if they toned it down by like 20%, they would have a really believable, like scary documentary.
Like if I was going to do something like this, I would talk about like, I would get lured in with honey. I'd be like, oh, things were so great, and then my dad changed one day, or like slowly but surely. But no, they're like, like his dad right away is just beating the shit out of him always, and all his friends instantly go into it. They're ready to kill Jews and kill America. Without a second thought, but only him. Only this.
Oh,
this is kind of a meta aside, but can I say the word coon on this podcast?
You can say whatever you want.
I just didn't know.
I guess maybe we have to explain now that you are black.
I'm a black man, so I can't
and
say.
And you were allowed to say, you're allowed to say whatever you want.
I just didn't know other races had coons.
So the crazy, so. Yes, this boy, this man sells out his entire family because an IDF soldier, which we don't even need to get into why the IDF soldier is like just there patrolling his neighborhood. Like, forget that. They're just kind of there as like a benevolent, ever-present source for like boys who don't want to kill Jews. And he gives them a candy, a piece of candy.
This is like the equivalent of like when cops take pictures like here we are, we're just in the hood. Did you know that Officer Jones can dunk? Like that. Like, did you know that Officer Jones listens to Jay-Z? Hey, some of us are good guys.
Like when they would bring around like the Dodge Challenger car that's been painted like the Dare car or whatever, and they're like, you want to hear us rev the engine?
Oh man, maybe cops are good. Hey kids, if you see something, say something.
Also, all black people are scary and bad.
Yeah.
And it's good that we have them in our jails because,
well,
weed is bad.
Well, there's so many connections and so many parallels. I mean, Mexico catches a stray. Immigration catches a stray. That's one thing I do appreciate about these guys is how all-encompassing with all their messaging they are. They couldn't just leave it to anti-Palestinian, anti-Arab sentiment. They had to throw immigration in there. They had to throw the college students under the bus. And that's what I mean by like they're like smart with it. Which
on one hand, it is smart because it creates this like valence of fear over like all of the like stalking horse issues that the right has, particularly in this election and like in all, I mean, pretty much all elections. Like this is nothing new. It's actually kind of surprising how the discourse on this from the right has not really changed since like 2001, 2003. It just kind of is fit into like a neater media package. But yeah, I on one hand, maybe it is smart, but on the other hand, it kind of adds to like okay, so are we just supposed to be afraid of like everyone? Like it kind of seems a little extreme. Like it's just like a touch beyond.
Well, the whole thing
believable.
is like just an exercise in self-disclosure. It's like the whole thing about like we want everyone to, we being like Islam wants everyone to think like us and take over the world. I'm like, guys, the call's coming from inside the house. Like that's what the whole project is. Like you want everyone to be a white Christian ethno-nationalist
or like a quote unquote democracy, but only a democracy that we get to install.
Well, that's one of the things that's the most insidious about all this is like, not hashtag not all white folks, but conservatives, I suppose, will say the most heinous, insane thing you've ever heard in your life, and then like one of the people in the doc, the SEAL Team 4 member, would be like, and they don't want civil discourse. All I'm saying is that these people kill babies, and they just don't want to have a civil conversation about it. It's like, but you can't punch me in the face and then be like, hey man, let's just talk it out. And it's just like it's like designed in a lab to give you like sanity point loss.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Like they find a way to say the most awful shit, but they obviously, because they fully control this video and it's like scripted, they make it seem somewhat rational. So again, this kid here, he's selling out his family for a candy bar, which we don't even need to ask why. Like the candy's so special. It's definitely not because the IDF has like just besieged Gaza for so long.
No.
They don't allow things like candy in for like celebrations.
No, this is like just like a really sweet, like, I mean, if you ask any Jew on the street, have they ever given anyone candy? They're gonna say yes, 100% of the time. And
exactly.
And this doctor he meets later on is so kind to teach him, how to speak Hebrew, how to speak the culture, and I don't remember, does the doctor get killed? I think doesn't it, or like hurt or something. I think this fictional doctor gets like I think his dad finds out that he's talking to this doctor learning Hebrew, and his dad once again just beats the dog shit out of him.
He does, yes. He says that he's like he just wail on him. Which there are images of like this is intercut with like images of this chair and barely sunlit. Yeah.
Okay, so I was gonna talk so much about this movie. It's just everything's just decontextualized to the nth degree. It'll just be like, a chair that's on the ground, or an empty hallway, or like I said, this noose. Like, just a lot. So much of the filmmaking is kind of like, you get it, like, kind of fear mongering.
The noose is crazy because it's like that's visually like it's just like confused imagery, right? Like because it's like a symbol that harkens to like lynching in the U.S.
Yes.
I'm like that fucking happened here. Also, like, what's the deal with the like? Obviously, they didn't hang him because he's here giving this testimonial. So, like, the thing that I thought of when I saw the chair, I was like, and the rope, I was like, did they do like that James Bond like style, where they like just cut out the bottom of the chair and hit him in the testes?
He did say that. I think after a certain point, he was tortured. He was just thrown into a room and just. Not only did his dad beat him so much, but now his friends, once he came of age, just tortured him until he could escape. So maybe they were doing the James Bond ball torture to him.
all of his friends. He's just like he's like, Dad, do I have to go to ball torture school today?
There was that part in the movie where he said a 6-foot-tall redhead woman did fin dom on him. She kept calling me a worm.
She stepped on me with her stilettos and spit in my mouth.
I couldn't remember the safe word. No, the safe word was Islam is cool, but I couldn't bring myself to say it.
Yeah, all the other kids could take like the Hamas school bus to school, but I had to crawl on all fours wearing a collar.
It basically says that. I mean, yeah. Let's see. Oh, one thing. So, I was trying to figure out more about this movie, and I was like, surely these are actors. These can't be real people.
Yeah.
And everyone is a real person, but I looked up Dor Shakar, and I went to his Instagram, and this guy rocks because one of the first, he posted this twice. It's a picture of like a really fresh baby, like borderline newborn. And on one side of the baby, there's a pistol. On the other side of the baby, there's a hand grenade. And let's see, it says, hold on. Oh man, there's a line that says, "This is how terrorist babies are born to kill infidels," in all red writing.
Damn.
And he posted it twice. I'm like, this guy is raw.
That is very like. Usually, if I have to post something, I delete the first one if I'm like, oh man, I need to rack up the likes on this one. But he's just like, nah, fuck it, I'm posting this 2 times to the grid. But that's an insane thing, like because essentially it's just like creating a permission structure for like Israel to be like, yeah, it's getting hard for us to kind of defend ourselves for like why we're killing so many babies. But if you take a look at this very real image, you can see that they're actually in the placenta is like a scimitar and also like a hand or a grenade vest that they're born with.
He's also got blueprints of a hospital. Of where to put the missiles that are the size of buses. Yeah. I mean, it is so, I mean, we're laughing, but it is so dark. And it is kind of, I mean, you know, I think of like Candace Owens, you know, and I think of, what's that North Carolina guy who can't stop jacking off? The lieutenant.
Mark Robbins?
Yeah, I think of him.
Mark Robbins. By the way, are you voting for Mark?
Oh, hell yeah. Gooners got a goon. Hey, Gooners unite. I don't see red or blue. All I see is off-white. I'm sorry, I'm being nasty. No, but it's like, man, it's like, are the checks that good? Are the checks that nice? Are the speaking engagements, are these shitty decontextualized documentaries that good that you're like fully posting pictures of babies with grenades next to them, being like knowing, like you said, full well that this will just be used by the dumbest people alive? It's like, see, one of them said it's true, so it must be true. So let's, you know, do crimes against humanity. Like, yeah, like
they must be, but also part of me would easily believe that if you told me that all of these ghouls are just kind of doing it on a volunteer basis, like, or if the guy is he's probably in some sort of like prison reform program where he has to have a certain number of volunteer hours.
Oh, that's a good one.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just judging based on the ponytail, the slick back ponytail and the balding, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you what kind of crimes this man does, but
I'm sure he does Seagal-esque crimes.
Yeah, exactly. But the crazy thing is, like, Prager U, again, just being like a conservative media institution, the other thing that they like will try to say is destroying Western civilization. and decreasing the white birth rates in the Western world is abortion, right? It's abortion and immigration. But, to take abortion, they're like, oh, this is infanticide. There's like a mass killing of children. I'm like, there is no place on earth with a higher rate of infanticide than Gaza right now. Right? Like,
I saw like a stat that said more children have been killed in Gaza than the entire world. I think it was like all year or something.
In the last 5
years. Yeah.
Which, again, like, these guys, they don't actually care about the issues that they say they care about. They like clearly only care about Western civilization, quote, like defined as only white people. Like white American.
Well, to hear SEAL Team 4, off-brand fucking SEAL team, all he wants is a conversation. Like the Mexican stray was like, and he's basically saying that Americans love freedom so much. We give everyone, benefit of the doubt so much. It's actually having a backfiring kind of effect. And then they cut to this clip of like, immigration is out of control, cartel member does X, saying like, look, we're so nice that it's actually fucking us over and the cartel is coming over here. And I mean, the thing is, what's wild is like, I would put money on the fact that like the people who care about this the most have never even met someone who's Mexican.
Yeah.
Or or someone who's Arab or a Muslim, but to hear them talk about it, everywhere is like a fucking Silk Road bazaar.
Yeah, well, this guy, the SEAL Team 6 member, whose name is, I think we're talking about Jason
SEAL Team 4.
Tusk. What is SEAL Team 4?
There's there's like a handful of SEAL teams. They all do.
I thought it just went straight to 6.
No, he's a part of 4, and I think another guy who is also in the video is like part of SEAL Team 3.
But this guy, he's like served in Iraq, which he kind of has come into contact with Arabs and Muslims, and he's like, oh man, he's like 95% of these guys are fantastic. They just want to live their lives.
They just want to worship differently. I think he said something like that.
Yeah. But then the idea is that even if there's just one radical, which is stated at the beginning of the videos, and I'll slide some clips in here at some point, but they're like, if there's just even one or a couple people, then suddenly everyone is radicalized. So they get to present themselves as like, listen, man, I'm not crazy. Like, I don't just go around believing that everyone is just inherently bad. Yeah. It's just that everyone is inherently bad because they have been radicalized by one or two people.
Serving in Iraq, I've never seen hatred like that in some of the people. They had this belief in this greater cause to, install a caliphate, return to the glory of Islam. First of all, like, the vast majority of Muslims are fantastic people. They just want to worship their own way, but you had extremists indoctrinate the youth and young men in particular. You have an economic downturn and you have people living in poverty. Those are ripe targets for radical ideas. What you can and can't do are dictated by the teachings of some imam, and that's terrifying to me.
It's just like, these are normal people and they're just like you or me, except they have no power to discern good from evil. All it takes is, instead of like, how Dor, he was given candy by a nice, Israeli doctor. What if a radical Hamas guy gave him candy instead? And then his whole life would have been different. He would have been radicalized.
Yeah, certainly he's not been radicalized now. Like, what he believes now is the good, right thing to believe, which is that you should just exterminate every Palestinian.
What's so irksome is like you said, like, nothing has changed in 20 years, and you would think they would you would think they would pull like a something more covert, like follow me here. But did you ever see that CIA ad from I think it was last year, where it's like a Latina,
I
and
yeah.
she's like, I have imposter syndrome, I have
Oh,
anxiety
buddy,
disorder.
that was yeah. I have generalized anxiety. That was
Oh
2020, I
my
think.
God, really? You
I
would think they
know.
would
That's
like do more like small beans, just like kind of courting. I don't know, like everyone, even the most conservative person, I guess below a certain age, is kind of generally, has a left-ish lean to them. Like they're they know a gay person, they like they'll listen to rap music, so so it's just weird to do the whole like America is all about freedom situation, like to just pull that old ditty out, especially in a time when like
yeah.
I don't know, like the contradictions have just never been more clear. Like no
Yeah.
one's had a harder time just doing basic things like getting groceries or
Yeah.
working a decent job. Like
Yeah.
like I don't know. Corporations have never had more
Well,
power, but no freedom.
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, that's in the video. One of the people, I don't remember who it is exactly. He's like, "Yeah, man, they hate how free we are.
And I'm just like,
They hate
what freedom,
Okay.
dude? Like oh, they like what fucking to have Hulu or Netflix? Like, what choice do we get to make? And like, even at that, like, you can't even keep your own damn show on there that you like for like more than a season. Like, you have the
Yeah.
freedom to consume, but barely because your dollar doesn't even like, what?
Well, there's like yes, there's a very real like actual lack of freedom, and we can only really express ourselves through like
Like,
consumerist
yeah.
choices. And even that is like starting to dwindle as things become more and more accumulated to like a few mega corporations. But just the idea that people or even Hamas or anyone who's like fighting back against an occupation or disagrees with Western values, they're just sitting around there. They're like, damn, dude, I just don't like how free they are.
God.
I hate that they're free.
They're like, man, have you ever seen Sydney Sweeney? God, I'm so
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah.
And then they'll
Oh my
cut to a woman who you can only see her eyes. God, man, I wish she was Sydney Sweeney. like they're treating it like that. Like, and I do think these guys are so like, I don't know. There is like a weird crossover subsection of like, kind of incel behavior and like, I mean, all this stuff touches all the other stuff. Like, like you said, birth rates declining, and just like
Yeah.
this kind of, I don't know, conservative Western male like sexual repression that they're like projecting onto like freedom fighters. They're like, man,
Yeah.
they're just as horny as me, but like for the wrong reasons. That's why they, Sorry, I'm just
No, it's like yeah. I mean, you hear all the stuff about like they tried to. I mean, the IDF is still posting videos of like jokes about like how Arab men are just like, oh, all they do is have sex with goats.
Yeah.
Like they don't like women, but at the same time they are also these like sexually incorrigible people who are like rapists. And they're like after our women too, but the women are oppressed sexually, but at the same time like they're out here posting videos like wearing the women's lingerie when they break into their homes. It's just like all
deviant.
very confused.
Everything is such a self-disclose. It's all like only one side is going into people's houses and then posting their lingerie. But no, these guys they're taking the time out in the middle of a battlefield to do a couple rapes.
Mhm.
Hey,
Yeah.
hang gliding. First thing I want to do, I see a girl with white girl dreadlocks. Oh boy, howdy.
Yeah. There's just the idea, and this has been like so debunked over and over and over, but like I don't know, like I feel like they kind of do try to somewhat touch on that in this by tying it to just like all the other issues that the conservatives perceive around immigration in the country, which is I think what kind of you were saying earlier, but like the idea is there are these really radical brown people over here who just like hate freedom. We're the ones who have freedom. But also, like, there are brown people coming into our country through the borders who want to like destroy our way of life, meaning that they actually just want to take our women. And we need to like crack down and own these women, which like in an ideal Prager U world or ideal like conservative war hawk world, they would just like lock down the borders and probably forcibly put white women in like niqab and hijab because they don't want like other men looking at them. I'm like, you just want to do the thing, right?
Yeah,
like,
they want to do the thing that they're accusing like Arab men, Haitian men, Latinos. They want to do a thing that they're just imagining. They would love it. So if all the women in the United States were located in like a big field in Colorado, a big open air field, and you can go to market and just pick like 3 or 4 of them, and that they would be your brood mares.
If they found out if a white one of these like fitness influencers was like, hey guys, actually dog is the best source of protein for after your workouts, like they would be making dog protein bars in like a second, like
a second. They would put like the fucking like LY that means it's modern. With new Dogly. Caninely, Barkley. Yes, that's it. Yeah, with Barkley, I get more protein. Actually, dog meat is lean. Dogs are plentiful. It's sustainable. It's actually more green.
So many amino acids.
And the cool thing is, the dogs like it too.
Yeah. Without any snout or with more snout, depending on which brand you prefer.
Right, of course.
You just split the market that
we have
way.
heritage breeds, like King Charles Spaniels. Yeah.
I want a lean Greyhound bar.
Yeah, no, those are a little pricey because you have to use more Greyhounds per bar. Because they just don't have a lot of meat.
It's very wasteful.
Yeah. The Barkley IPO is doing very well right now. No, that's it. There's like, maybe listen, if you invite me back on, I would love to come up with like a grand like theory of everything to kind of really encapsulate the conservative mind and just like distill it down to like an E equals like MC squared. Because I think what we're touching on is a lot is like id based and like kind of secret desires. I do think there is kind of a modern day thing both on the left and right of like, I call it white male sexual pathology. Whether you are worried, like a lot of it centers around like cuckoldry, and how you take it. Whether that's on the left where you're like, I don't know, like a Tom Wambsgans in Succession, you're kind of like sort of okay with it, or to the right end.
But it's like eating you away on the inside. You're like being destroyed by it. Yeah.
Or like on the right where it like is either the brown hordes are going to take your women, or I guess even further right to where you're doing like seed saving and you're like so straight that you become like functionally gay. Where you're like to where you're just like trying to come up with a mathematical proof for your lack of game and human interaction skills, to where you're like, actually sex is only for procreation, and even then you should jack off into a cup and throw it at your wife. Like, so I would love to just maybe next time or another time just dive into this kind of like a grand theory of like these sexual pathologies to become like they become laws essentially.
Distill it down into just like pure concentrate and shoot it into our veins.
Yes, I mean, so much of it does come down to sexual fear, because the thing that's so annoying is or the part that irks me so much, and sorry if I'm repeating myself, is just this vagary. I just wish they would. I would almost want them to be more heinous and rude and fucked up if they were just like more specific. Like we heard, like we said, 20 years of freedom, or the border. I'm like, but like, what is it like that you're actually scared of? And I think, we've talked about like the id-based thing, but like I want them to go further. If I was like a professor and I saw them write a paper, I'd be like, push deeper. Like what beyond, like what kind of freedom? Because like we said, there's nothing over here that doesn't exist over there. Like everyone's got TV, everyone's got food, women and people, like sports. Like what, like it's not the fucking Flintstones,
Yeah, I mean, it is just like a fear that has just like remained in the U.S. for like centuries. I mean, like the conservatives lost the cultural war on like oppressing black people in the U.S. Right? Like obviously it's still done economically and even like through like actual law, but more or less everyone agrees that we can't actually go back to slavery times.
Hey, not yet.
And so, and they're like, okay, well, here's just like another enemy who I can say is going to undermine me by, like undermining my ownership over land, property, and like women, and the sexual reproduction of society.
It's kind of like, kind of like, what was it? Is it an Alexander wept because there are no more worlds to conquer? It's kind of like that in the sense that, like, to be a black person in America is kind of like such an inherent permanent underclass that like you need more. You need more of an underclass to fill in the infinite blood void. It's like when they tried to make, the metaverse a thing, and they're like, hey, we've already taken all the land on the planet and space is too far away. What if we invent a space to gatekeep and to colonize? Let's make let us make a metaphysical realm that is infinite and boundless, and let us put constraints and rules on it. And I think that's a part of it. I think the not to be in my Afro pessimist, but I think to these folks that like black is such a ingrained just underclass that they need company, because that machine's already working too well. The pipelines, we have the ones that make culture and do the fun stuff and make the dances. We have the ones that fight the fires for free. We have the ones that rear the children, but we need more people to join the underclass. Yeah.
If you can't handle me at my Afro pessimist, you don't deserve me at my Afro futurist.
That's hey, make it merch alert.
There we go. But kind of get back to this, to the video. One thing that I thought was insane is just how, despite the pretty high production value, they just didn't have enough script researchers. Yeah. So one thing that they do is they are just like, they taught us in school to hate Jews and like to hate like Western civilization, and they would make us recite the Bismillah prayer.
That was great.
Help people. A respected teacher came. He said to us, "Listen, children, you must kill the Jews. Jews have 3 legs and an eye in the middle of their forehead." He said to us, "Anyone who slaughters a Jew will go to heaven. You will kill Israelis and kill Americans." Why should we kill Americans? They are not Muslim. All the children in school would chant, "Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar," and recite the Bismillah prayer.
Kind of just tying So Bismillah is like Bismillah Rahman Rahim is just like in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, right? Like, and it's just like something that people recite before they do a lot of things, like before they eat, before people just say it before they take a test, before prayer, like it's just that's literally what it means. But in the Prager U world, it means death to Americans and all infidels. And
I wrote it down. Yeah, it said it's kill all Jews, kill America. That's the thing. So much of this, like, while it was flashy and well put together, it's like a cake that was all icing. Because it honestly could have been. It was fun to watch, but it honestly could have been like 3 minutes long. Because whether it's a picture of a chair, a picture of a hallway, just like incorrect translations on stuff like that, or just like in the first minute or so, there's just like a lot of footage of people running to like nowhere, and they put a VHS filter on like a lot of like footage that was shot with like a red camera just to be like, it's like it's like faking CCTV footage to just, I mean, it's all just like
well, it's trying to create like a war-torn environment, like vibes, right? And I'm like, who's creating the war? Like,
well, I mean, like we said earlier, so much of this is just like you get it TV. It's like you get it, like it's just like it's just things that like look scary or sound scary, or like mixing in a little, like, honestly probably a lot of it could have just been like football soccer hooligan like footage, but they made it yellow tint.
They make it yellow tint and then just put like vaguely Arabic music over it.
I kind of want to make a cut of just like, see if I can just take footage that is literally just all white people and but do the same thing. Just put the make it seem like it's CCTV or VHS, yellow filter, like some kind of call to prayer, incorrect subtitles. One funny thing I was when they were talking about this ideology infiltrating the West, was they just had some lady who was definitely a real protester. They asked her, "Hey, what are you protesting?" And then she looks.
Oh my God!
And she's like, "Wait, do you know? I don't know." But you can tell she's young and she has a septum piercing, so therefore she's on the left.
Oh my God! There is no bigger, like, the final boss battle in reclaiming Western civilization is a college-aged, non-binary, who is kind of more like femme presenting, who has a septum piercing and like wolf cut and just like neon hair.
Yeah, looks like a Scott Pilgrim girlfriend.
Exactly, like someone who is on the verge of being too far gone to rescue, but like you still want to have sex with them, and you think by fucking them you can rescue Western civilization.
There we go. It all ties back to some kind of like deep-seated id, and just like like true worry that like a woman is not going to choose you. Because
you're just like, oh, these young women today are so stupid. They're cavorting with these brown men and believing all this crazy stuff. I wish I could cover them up entirely head to toe and keep them locked in the house, but also have sex with them.
But hey, they're free to come and go as they please, because it's like so chill. Right. Like, this is America. Like, we're chill. It's the implication. I just want her to live in fear and dread that, like, if she disobeys, like, what's coming next. But I wouldn't. But like, I might.
Right. But I would love to if she ever gave me the time of day.
Yeah. There was that woman, the only female presence in the doc. I forgot her name, but she's doing a great job.
So she is what's her name? Sophia Salma Khalifa, who is in the YouTube video description described as an Arab Muslim born in Israel who moved to the U.S. to earn her master's degree from Stanford University. So she's everything that she says is
Everything she says
right.
is virtuous and true. And
Right.
I love the part where they're like when they're talking about how dumb everyone on the left is for like protesting genocide. She's like, they don't
Yeah.
even know what they're doing. They don't even know what from
Yeah.
the river to the sea means.
Right.
And like
They're like they don't know which river or which sea, which is something that like Zionists and like counter protesters love to just say, even though people who are at these like anti-genocide protests are 9 times out of 10 better read and more historically informed than anyone on the other side.
well, they always try to do these like the world's worst gotchas. Like Jill Stein was on the Breakfast Club, and I think she said like the wrong number of like Congress people. She said like 400, and it's like 419. They're like, she's not good enough to be president. She doesn't know how many people are in Congress. It's like, just who is this for? Like, is that enough to? If you think that's, I just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Just stop. Like,
yeah.
Like that's like, okay, cool. Like I don't know the river. That's gonna discredit me. Actually, I got the river wrong, and wow, this fundamentally changes how I think about people getting blown up.
Oh yeah. No, okay, my bad. I misnamed it, and now I need to just believe that the wholesale slaughter of innocent men, women, and children is the virtuous thing to do. Like I can't believe what my actual eyes see in the footage that we're actually seeing coming out of Gaza and the West Bank and Syria and Lebanon is disregard that.
No, I can't believe what my eyes see. I can't believe what like a history book tells me. No, it's just this like shallow, pedantic bullshit. It's kind of like the what is a woman of protesting. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Get a life.
Right. Yeah. It's like very Charlie Kirk brained.
Yeah. Hey, we just want a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's kind of typifies the worst type of person on earth, in my opinion, which is like someone who just again sells out their own people for a paycheck.
Yeah.
And says all this horrible shit, but like tries to make it seem like, oh, I again don't harbor any ingrained resentment, and I don't have any sort of like financial stake here.
Yeah.
Like I'm just kind of doing this out of the goodness. I'm just a truth teller, and like the truth is that these people are actually so stupid that they don't know that they're actually protesting in support of something that if they got their way, they would be dead.
Yeah.
Right. Because what she kind of says is that she doesn't, they like,
because the guy
these
asked
young
her,
liberal kids. Yeah.
He says basically something to the akin, like, would they like be welcome or like, would they survive or something? And she's like, no. Like they don't practice. They don't. She's basically making it seem like this is some sort of like wolf in sheep's clothing. That like, okay, the dark future is that Islam wins, and that everyone is thrown into like a work camp or something.
Yeah, I mean, you just see like all these non-Muslim, non-Arab like journalists, aid workers, people who go to Palestine and they get killed by the IDF. They don't get killed by Hamas. And also they like just historically, even before October 7th, like I know like have Jewish friends who have lived in Palestine, like anti-Zionist Jewish friends. And so they are just trying to make this seem like I guess now that it's like October, it's just like they're trying to make it seem like, Arabs are just like mindless zombies who can't even help themselves if they see someone who's Jewish.
Arabs, anyone who's like left leaning. The thing that's so irksome about, I guess, is this kind of notion that like young people just want something to complain about. Yeah, your they them cousin is just like so bored and ungrateful for the life they've been given. That they just need something to do. Like this is a fad. This is like having, I don't know, a mohawk. This is,
Yeah. No, the only people who get to complain about the way society is structured right now are like boomers and like aging millennials who just need things to be different, right? Like if you're like a Gen Z or like younger person who's dissatisfied with the way things are right now, you're just being ungrateful for all the sacrifices that everyone else
I
made.
hate the kind of like I'll get into my in-laws are great people, but and it's not just them, but it's like kind of this notion of like, well, I lived through much worse times, like Jim Crow or civil rights movement, and they're acting, not necessarily my in-laws, but like that generation is acting like they're taking credit for the best of them. None of the credit for the worst of them. No. All of us alive today were all freedom fighters, so that you could vote, so that you could go to school and have a good job. As opposed to just like
Meanwhile, if you see like a historical photograph, it's just like all of them opposing the desegregation of like the schools in Alabama. They're just like they're yelling at those like little girls,
them throwing rocks at 6-year-olds. And it's just like I do this kind of I don't know, rhetorical argument myself. I'm just like wondering, like, man, if Jim Crow as it was back then was like around today, I'm like, we would be so screwed. I'm like so surprised that anything has ever gotten done in this country ever at the rate of degradation that we're at. I'm just like, you'd have people on the slave plantation and like, come on, bro, Africa sucked, bro. What is you doing? Mazza is nice. He is nice. We are gainfully employed in Africa. We did not have a house. And it's just, you would have people just being like that, just being like, you should be grateful for the scraps and the dung heap that you're in, because it's people dung, but it could be animal dung.
Right.
Like
you can grind your way up here.
Yeah. It's, I don't know, just it's so much of it is just like a slap in the face, just from the most worthless people of all time. For people whose lives you want to make better, ultimately, you want them to be gainfully employed. You want them to have a job. What we demand lifts up everyone, and what they demand is who knows what the fuck they want. I guess,
right.
I want 3 Sydney Sweeneys.
Yeah. Well, they want to take all your Sydney Sweeneys.
No,
that's what they want.
No,
yeah.
I mean, I don't currently have one, but I might.
That's the thing that is like so annoying about people like this Sophia Khalifa woman, is that they try to come off as, oh, I just have your best interest at heart, but like they don't have their best interest at heart, because they're like so uninformed, and therefore they shouldn't have any agency to make decisions in their own lives. Like again, kind of justifying all of the horrible police repression we saw against college students, most egregiously at Columbia University. And so they are trying to connect the student protests, which, according to the video, the kids don't even know why they're out there.
They just saw a bunch of people gathered up and they just joined in, because they're all
it's like they're all Hamas sleeper cells apparently. Yeah, because again, they're like good people, like the 95% of Muslims, like that guy said, but there's like one or two radical,
couple bad apples,
people on a couple bad apples, and it just spoiled the whole bunch, because they're just like, Western civilization has just been too degraded, and they don't know what's good anymore.
To me, there's 2 types of people in the world. There's Hamas, and there's pre-Hamas. But because one thing there's also,
because if you touch pre-Hamas, then you will
get impregnated
with a bad ideology. It's already there, and these women who don't even identify as women anymore are continuing to give birth to it.
It's so confusing for me because it's like I get an erection. I'm like, am I gay now?
Am I gay? Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
It makes me
whether I'm
so
straight.
mad.
It makes me so mad, but also so horny.
I'm so upset. Oh fuck! I'm getting radicalized. One thing that I thought was kind of interesting is that this video didn't end on a triumphant note. I thought that was kind of fascinating. You would think that they would be like, "Hey, and we're winning." Like, I think one person basically said it's like too late almost. Like near the end, they were like, and they're almost like there's nothing you can do about it, except at the very end, which I thought was so funny and corny, and the filmmaker me was going crazy. It ended in the big text on the bottom in the lower third said, "Take our survey."
Yeah. Oh yeah. that was an insane thing. I remember Yasmine and I watched that, and we were both just like, "What the fuck kind of ending is?"
I like this. I'm like, you're undermining your own like artistic integrity. Like at least, at least have that. Like this is all bullshit, but it at least stick the land. You're like, no, like and subscribe. Like you're like, Western society is doomed. All the Sydney Swedes are gonna be rounded up and taken away.
Yeah,
and you're gonna get put in the farms. But hey, like and subscribe, y'all, and go to our store. Go to our store for merch and subscribe to our Patreon if you want to learn more. It's like you guys can't just like you can't give up the grift long enough. You have to.
No,
you don't believe in anything.
They betray themselves. They betray themselves. It's crazy. Yeah, that I'm so glad you mentioned that because I just like memory hold it, but it is so jarring because like up until that point, like Yasmine and I were watching it and we were like, obviously, like we've been hearing these things. You know, I've been hearing this shit since, you know, for decades growing up in like post 9/11 America, like as an Arab, and then you're just like, holy shit, this is really well produced. Like like your regular kind of like MAGA chud is just gonna be like, oh, it's like really gonna get them riled up, and it's probably gonna lead to someone getting stabbed or shot. And then suddenly it's like, what do you take our survey? Like, is America doomed?
It's like
or whatever the fuck they ask.
I kind of miss old school conservatism. I kind of miss like, I don't like these kind of like, you know,
like William F. Buckley being like, you call me gay, I'm gonna sock you in the mouth.
Don't you call me a Nazi boy?
Yeah,
you know, I just like, I saw this good tweet that was like, essentially saying like it was talking about Tomlin. It was like about clinging to power for power's sake as opposed to having any sort of ideology. And I thought it just really resonated with me. It's just like it just makes it all feel even more nihilistic because it's like being king of the ashes just to be like, I'm still king, I still won. It's like playing tag with someone, but instead of tagging them, you shot them, and it's like, haha, now you have to be it forever. It's you know, it's like you guys don't even. That's what, you know, feeds into like the quality of it, you know, and the fact that like they had to get a gaffer and like a good DP and like a copywriter and like all this stuff and probably a decent producer, and it's all just to make like an extra buck. And it's like it's like I don't know how much these people actually believe what they're saying. Not that it ultimately matters, but there's something so much more I guess honorable about just like a true racist or a true degenerate as opposed to someone who is just trying to get speaking engagements and sell their Patreon.
Yeah. Could you imagine this being like some teacher somewhere has had to have played this for her like third grade class?
Oh, it really makes you think, kids.
Yeah,
it reminds me of
and then they take like the Pakistani kid out and just like beat him with like socks filled with rocks.
Well, they give him candy first.
Yeah, they're like either take in one hand is a candy bar to convert him from Islam, and then in the other hand is like a sock filled with rocks, and then he has to choose.
But
and if
he's
he
free to
chooses the
choose.
candy bar, he's free to choose. And if he chooses the candy bar, he's just gonna go home and get tortured by his dad. Apparently,
Yeah. So you can't win.
no.
Hey, but if you live long enough, you too can have the worst hairline of all time.
Yeah. Have you seen any of the other Prager videos? Because I was gonna try. I don't think I have the setup to do it, but there are just like some other crazy ones, especially the Prager U like kids videos, because the animations are terrifying. Like you should go and watch the Frederick Douglass one.
Oh God, what are they saying?
Yeah.
What are they saying about him?
So, well, first of all, Prager U's like, I wonder if this is intentional on their part or if it's just kind of like due to the fact that like no department is talking to the other department. But there is a video of like on Prager U, it's like was the Civil War because of slavery? And they have some like teacher from West Point who looks like fucking like Megamind if Megamind had cancer. He looks insane. He's terrifying. Who's like, yeah, he's just like flat out. He's like, yes, it was because of slavery. And then it's like a 5-minute video. But then they have this one with Frederick Douglass where it's animated and it's for the kids. And I don't remember exactly, but they're like, so what was the Civil War about? Or like Frederick Douglass is like, yes, kids, like slavery was bad. But
wait, so
they did it in the service of a greater
civil, like historical figure, Frederick Douglass.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
like animating him like jib jab style.
They animated him jib jab style, and he looks terrifying because he kind of looks like the Encourage the Cowardly Dog, that like where he's just like what was that thing that's the scary scene from? What does he say?
Return the slab.
Return the slab. So like the same so the same way that character is just kind of like stretching and constantly in motion, it's like kind of really unsettling. They do the same thing to Frederick Douglass.
A jib jab, but it's made by the devil.
Yeah, and he's just like, oh yeah, sure, slavery was bad, but yeah, like they did it because they were in service of a greater project.
Wait, what?
Which was building the United States. And then he says some like absolutely insane shit, and even I'll send it to you after this because this part was hilarious.
Oh my God.
I don't remember what he said, but they were like, so like maybe it wasn't all that bad, whatever, but it's like people were still owed or whatever, and like it took forever. Oh yeah, they were saying like, oh, it seems like it still took forever to get rid of slavery, and like several years, and he was just like, he says some shit that like then the kids in the video that is animated, again, they did not have to draw it like this, but he says something that you would like assume like Joe Biden would say.
What's taking the southern states so long to do what's right?
Great streams are not easily turned from channels worn deep in the course of ages.
Huh?
And then people are just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Does that even hold any like meaning linguistically? And that happens in the animated video.
Listen, we were gainfully employed. It's like the equivalent of being like, yo, when I was a slave, like I was fed. I had a job. I had a home. And now that I'm not a slave, I don't have anywhere to live. And like all my friends try to escape, and I told on them, and then they beat me up. That's essentially what that fucking Steven Seagal guy did in this video.
Yeah, that's also Sophia Khalifa. That's like everyone other than those SEAL Team 6 guys or SEAL Team guys in the video.
Yeah, they're not even the good SEAL team, the cool one.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
no. Not the one that crashed like 4 helicopters into a compound just to go in and like Three Stooges their way through one door and like so that they could be the first to shoot an unarmed man who was asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, not those cool.
No,
guys.
not those cool. They've only done dumber things than that. They've only done
and then like slipped while and hit their head while trying to throw a body overboard on a boat somewhere in the middle of the ocean.
I love the whole thing where like we have to throw him in the ocean so he doesn't become a statue. He doesn't
Yeah.
he doesn't he doesn't become a living. You know how Arabs are always leaving bodies out in the street
Yeah.
and making holy sites out
Yeah.
of husks. You know.
Yep. Yep.
You know, not like us Catholics who have Mary Magdalene's skull, you know, decorated.
Or constantly just like hanging Jesus up and showing him being like killed or
no, it's like that's super different. So super different.
Yeah.
Everything's a fucking all the calls are coming from inside the house, and that's, you know, I just want honesty. I crave honesty at this point in my life.
Yeah.
Just enough like, you know, mental gymnastics. Just tell me you hate me because I don't know. Because of you don't understand what melanin is. You don't understand how migration works and how culture works and how Pangea works. And that's fine.
Yeah.
Because I can deal with that.
Yeah.
But someone who's always moving the target or trying to justify it with like therapy language. Just these fucking small beans conservatives, man.
Yeah, it's like an ambient fear that they're experiencing. There's like it's like a small dog that's just constantly shaking. You know, those like annoying ass small dogs that just like all they do is just like shiver and bark at anything that moves.
Yeah.
That's what they are. They don't even know what they're afraid of. They're just afraid, and it's like the most annoying shit to watch and have to take seriously.
Yeah, because you try to engage with it, you know, like I don't know, like the only way you can, just not necessarily in good. I mean, I guess in good faith, but like because you never know who could be, I guess, converted to thinking correctly. So you know, you don't want to pull a Hillary and just be like deplorables and just be like, no, you're full of shit. But like sometimes you just have to be like, you're full of shit. Leave me alone. Go away.
Yeah. I don't respect it one bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Corey, thank you for actually. Well, before we end, are there any final notes on this video or anything?
I think I'm Prager pilled. I would love to watch more of these. I am gonna watch them.
Should we enroll? We enroll in Prager U?
This is to get emails and just. I'm scared that I might get radicalized. I haven't had sex in a whole week. I'm just feeling so radical right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you the Frederick Douglass video because I think there's some really important stuff in there.
I might need
for you to know.
Do a wellness check on me once I finish watching it.
Yeah, and then once you have watched enough of these videos, and then like everyone in your social circles hates you for just being the most annoying person on earth.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're being right all the time.
Yeah, if you are the dumbest actually guy to ever exist, you're on the right side of history.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. This was great. Like I said, I'd love to come back on and do a grand theory of everything, or I'd love to talk about Uncle Obama, and
oh man,
I'd love to talk about how he hates black people.
Ooh.
Yeah. So we can dive into him if you're available.
I would love to. We got to send the gals out again for an even longer bike
Ladies,
trip so the boys can play.
Go exercise. It's time for the boys to be nasty.
Yeah. Did you like this nasty episode of Just the Boys? If so, take our survey. And we'll end it there. All right, Corey, thank you so much, and we'll be sure to have you back.
Thank you very much. I had a great time.